I burst into the office like a meteor crashing into a still lake, sudden, loud, and totally out of place. Then I just froze. There she was. My Liz. Wrapped around Steve's neck like a scarf, both arms locked in. There was no room for doubt. My jaw dropped honestly, it swung down like a chandelier someone forgot to screw in properly. Oh. I barely breathed out, stumbling backward into the hallway like a ghost who'd walked into the wrong room. For the next 3 days, I dragged myself through the city like a beat-up suitcase someone had kicked down the stairs, torn, hollow, and way too heavy. I crashed on Mike's lumpy couch, lived off greasy shawarma and flat soda, while my thoughts clawed at my brain like a rodent trapped in the wheel of a broken cart. But you know what? It all started like a dream. Liz was the golden girl of our circle. Seriously, she was the kind of beautiful you'd want to paint, the kind of funny that deserves her own sitcom, and sharp enough to be named Minister of Culture on the spot. Plus, she was 6 years younger. She bloomed like a spring rose while I was already quietly collecting rust. At our wedding, friends nudged each other and whispered, "Alex, man, you better put barbed wire around that one or someone's gonna snatch her." And I just laughed like an idiot, full of blind faith in fairy tales. Liz had this gift for listening. We'd sit in the kitchen, me dripping with stress from work. I was in law enforcement back then, where pressure comes bundled with your uniform, and she'd just sit there, watching me like I was the most important voice in the room. She'd nod, soft and serious, like I wasn't some worn-out officer venting again, but a poet of pain. Then, in that gentle voice of hers, she'd say, "Tell me everything, Alex." And I would. I'd talk, scream, sob, swear, spill every cracked part of me. And she took it all in, like some kind of human sanctuary with padded walls and a warm smile. Later, Liz decided to go for her second degree, this time in psychology. One evening, as she stirred cold pasta with a fork, she looked up and said casually, "I'm thinking about applying to your department. Get some hands-on experience. Later I'll switch to a more stable job." "Liz," I said, raising an eyebrow, "are you sure about that? It's a zoo down there, everyone's a walrus in uniform, and the boss? Steve. Full-blown lunatic. He yells at flies during meetings so hard they drop dead from shame." But Liz just gave me that look, the one with the big, glassy eyes and the little pout like a Disney kitten asking for a second helping. "Please." And just like that I caved. Barely a month into the job, I started noticing things, little things. Liz kept popping into our boss's office more and more. Sometimes she'd dart in the moment he called, like a cat responding to the sound of a can opener. Other times, she'd slip in quiet as a mouse, vanishing behind that heavy door like it was nothing. From the outside, it all looked pretty above board, just work talk, maybe some department gossip. But then the boss would reappear. Different. Softer. Smiling, even. No shouting, no slamming files, no giving the poor intern a coronary. He'd ask how we were doing, if anything needed fixing. Like he suddenly remembered he was managing people, not scaring them into ulcers. It didn't take long for the guys to catch on. Word got around that if you wanted something, time off, a raise, a shiny medal, you didn't ask the boss. You asked Liz. One day, our tech guy Paul pulled me aside and said, "Alex, buddy, talk to your Liz, will ya? Get her to sweet-talk the boss into giving us a new computer. Mine sounds like it's trying to escape the desk every time I turn it on." I just laughed it off, gave a little wave like, "Come on, man, really? What now? You want me to start filing requests through my wife?" But still, deep inside, something wasn't right. It felt like a rusty nail was dragging itself along my ribs, scratching around for answers I didn't want. I tried warning her, more than once. "Hey, Fox," I said, my nickname for her, "just be careful in there, okay? People around here aren't saints. They talk. A lot." But Liz, as usual, brushed it off with that same sunny, no worries grin. "Oh, come on. Eugene and I just have a purely professional, therapeutic relationship. It's all." "Actually," she added, twirling the pen between her fingers, "he promised that I'd have a private office soon." But the boss actually followed through, got her that private office, freed up someone's spot and handed it right over. After that, Liz started disappearing more often. I'd swing by her desk, and there'd either be some fresh-faced newbie sitting there, blinking like a confused baby penguin, or the boss himself, lounging like he owned the place. I'd knock, and they'd be in there sipping coffee, chatting, laughing like old friends at a garden party. Then Vic came up to me. Now, Vic's not one to exaggerate. He's the straightest arrow. We've got shoelaces always tied with military precision, hat worn exactly by the book. Loyal guy. Quiet. The kind who salutes a broom if it wears stripes. Alex. He said hesitantly, looking around. Maybe you should keep an eye on your wife. I saw the boss come to her office last night. After a while. They came out. It looks like they are. They were straightening their clothes. And just like that, boom. Like someone dumped a bucket of wet cement over my skull. Cold, heavy, suffocating. Maybe you just imagined it, I said, gripping at straws already halfway burned. But Vic just sighed, gave me that helpless shrug like, I'm sorry, man, and walked off. I held it in for 2 more days. 2 long, bone-grinding days. Then one evening, I couldn't take it anymore. Something snapped. I stormed down the corridor and straight into Liz's office. And that was it. My apocalypse. They were in each other's arms. She was curled up against him like a cat, and he was gently stroking her back, fingers trailing like he was petting something delicate. After that, everything just blanked out. I couldn't tell you how I got out of the building. I couldn't even say how I kept breathing. For 3 days, I wandered through the city like a man with his soul torn out. Even Mike's dog stared at me like I was a ghost, the kind that doesn't know it's dead yet. When I finally came home, Liz was there waiting on the doorstep. Calm. Peaceful. Like the world hadn't cracked open beneath us. Alex, she said, cool as dew on a quiet morning, don't take this the wrong way, but honestly, this is kind of your fault. I just stood there, blinking, like someone had jammed a fork into a power socket and left me buzzing, speechless. You've always blamed your problems on me, she said in a flat voice, but you've never asked about mine. I needed support, Alex. I needed you as a life jacket. And Eugene. He's listening. He understands me. Crushed? Man, that word doesn't even come close. It felt like I'd been flattened by a steamroller, then ironed out for good measure. The divorce was fast. Clean break. I packed up, transferred to a new unit in a new city, and tried to stitch together something that looked like a fresh start. Tried being the key word. At first, I heard a lot about her from mutual friends. Apparently, Liz was living a social life now. She was promoted ahead of schedule, she got a gorgeous office with a view of the park, bonuses showered. Yes, the whole package of VIP services. But later on, rumors started trickling in, something about things going south between them. I'd almost put her out of my mind when I bumped into Vic one day. He clapped me on the shoulder with that same old military stiffness. You're Liz. Gone. Along with her fairy tale ending. Steve nearly got booted too. His wife caught wind of everything, raised hell all the way to headquarters. Total circus, no bears, but plenty of clowns. He paused, then added, Liz left on her own. Didn't want to drag him down with her. Still has a good heart, I guess. I didn't say anything. A good heart. Maybe. Who knows? Sometimes, when the night gets too quiet, I remember her, those eyes you could get lost in for days, that laugh like wind rustling through spring leaves. But even now, I can't forgive her. Not really. And if I'm being honest, these days the word psychologist makes me itch. Like an allergy. Pollen season level. And it's only getting worse.